Hello, this is Bricks to Build here, and today I'm finally doing the long-awaited full LEGO room tour. This tour will be focusing on basically showcasing everything from the hustle and bustle of the big city to the displays of official sets that line the walls, and even the shelves that I use to store my extra parts. So, with that being said, now we will move to the right side of the entrance. We will start here at my official display areas. Starting up here on the very top shelf, you can see we have the Pirates of the Caribbean section. Now, back in 2011 when these sets came out and I was still just a wee little kid, I wanted to collect these, and I managed to collect the vast majority of them, some of which are not intact unfortunately, but most of the ones I do have remain up on this shelf. To the right, we can see White Cat Bay from On Stranger Tides, the very first Pirates of the Caribbean set that I ever managed to collect. Moving to the right of that, we can see I cannot remember for the life of me what the set is called, but it is the one with the cursed gold from the first movie. Behind that house is the Cannibal Island set, and just to the right holds the mill, or as I like to refer to it, the one with the wheel from the movie. Moving a shelf down brings us to a small but equally important display, the Lone Ranger, which we only have 3 sets. The Silver Mine, the Native American Camp, and I can't remember what the official set was called. It was something about cavalry with the soldiers. Third shelf down houses the Ocean Explorer set from 2015, one of my favorite city sets that ever got released, and I've held on to it ever since, and I have now found a home for it here on this shelf. And now the final shelf along this section holds my very small Star Wars display. There's a custom Naboo starfighter I built in the back along with an airspeeder from Attack of the Clones, and that's just a small assortment of random little sets that I've bought, which I'm still a fan of. And then down below that, we still have nothing, but keep an eye out there. Continuing moving left from the first storage area, we come to my building table. This is where I sit and I build all the creations that you have ever seen and will continue to see throughout the remainder of this video. And resting along there, you can find a small collection of LEGO minifigures that I'm still trying to find a spot for them. Some of them are custom, some of them are from official sets. And directly to the left of the building table comes to our second storage shelf. The top one still remains empty, but underneath that, if you've been watching my channel for any amount of time, you'll be very familiar with, I should say, most of the creations on this shelf. This is the LEGO Transformers shelf. This is where I keep most of the Transformers, which are not over in the city. And moving down there, we have the LEGO Movie. In my opinion, one of the best themes to come out of LEGO pretty much ever, and again, I collected a bunch of them when I was younger, and these are the ones that I've chosen to keep intact. And finally, the last shelf we have is LEGO Jurassic World. I managed to collect every single one of the 6 sets from the initial 2015 wave, and I've been keeping them intact ever since. The final shelf in this section holds all the instruction books I've kept over the years. Returning to the LEGO Movie for just one moment, we have Benny's spaceship here sitting on the shelf right next to the rest of the shelves because it simply didn't fit in there. And then just to the left of that, I've built a little LEGO cup which I use to store the many brick removers that I've collected over the years. Coming down from the empty space up on that shelf, you can find my storage section. This is where I keep all the parts which I don't currently use, and yes, they are all sorted. The section up along here is all the colors, while everything else is basically, yeah, everything else. And there will be a video coming out sometime which will basically show exactly how I store every single piece and my method for storing them. So stay tuned and comment if that'd be something you're interested in watching. The final thing along the top of these shelves is my LEGO ship collection. I have the 2 ships from Pirates of the Caribbean, the Black Pearl and the Queen Anne's Revenge. And just to the right of that is a custom MOC that I built myself. Just before we move into the main city area, I'm going to take you over here to show you the last storage shelves that we have in this room. The top is basically a weird miscellaneous collection where it holds some random sets that I've built, such as the Harry Potter Hungarian Horntail and a 2015 Creator Holiday Train that I got for free at the LEGO store a long time ago, and the Ender Dragon, along with just a couple other custom builds. But other than that, there's not much to this shelf. Moving down below, we have the LEGO Speed Champions line. I just got into that theme this year, and I've managed to collect quite a few of them. Not gonna say anything. We have an official creator set of a shark, and next to that is a custom moose that I built quite some time ago. The final shelf that houses anything in this area houses a few older sets that I have, which didn't really have much of another space to go, so I put them all together here. We have a Santa Fe train from sometime in the 90s, I can't remember exactly when, a classic spaceship from I think it was 1977 or 78, and 2008 Indiana Jones set. Now the time has finally come to see the main city itself in all its glory. Here to the very left of the city, I have one of my most recent builds that I have done in this area, which is the beach area. Has many people on it, and I'm very happy with it, and it also comes with a boardwalk that's built along top with a gift shop and an ice cream shop, along with an arcade, which will soon be built. The left of that is my Harry Potter Hogwarts display, which is a mix of official sets and my own builds. Full showcase coming on that. In fact, that about goes for everything in this city. Pretty much every single custom build of mine that you see on here, at some point I will do a full walkthrough of the entire thing, every single detail, start to finish. Just before we move on to the rest of the city, we will move underwater, where I built a small underwater space. Down here you can find the remnants of a small shipwreck, along with a lush and lively coral reef. Moving to the right of the beach, we start to get into the city area, but just before that, I have the start to a marina. Right in between the beach and the marina has a little bar and a bookstore, and above that, many apartments with a beautiful ocean view. Something additional I forgot to mention, throughout the entire LEGO City, I've hidden multiple Captain Jack Sparrow minifigures around. See how many you can find. I already have one here, so leave a timestamp for every single one that you find. And just to the right of that contains absolutely nothing, as of now. Check back on that later. Across from the vast emptiness of the construction site comes the city park, along with its coffee shop and bank right next to it. This is the main spot of congregation for all the minifigures of my city, and they are all extremely happy that their city has such a space. Moving to the left of the park, we see more buildings which are still currently under construction. From this side of the street, I find that it tends to give a very beautiful view of all the stuff in the distance. You can see the mast of the boat and Hogwarts in the distance. And yes, that big empty space underneath of Hogwarts, there will be a cliff face that will be built up to cover that. Moving down the street from the park, I'm straight across the bank. Eventually we come across the Grand Emporium from, I think it was 2012. Across from that is the City Police Station from 2012, along with an empty space, which I've currently just thrown a little wrestling match in, but there will be a building there. Well, I am curious to try building my own police station. I am still a huge fan of this official set, so I decided to keep it intact. To the left of the police station comes, at the bottom, what is the museum of the city, and on top of that holds my tower that my main minifigure lives in. I'd say the main balcony up here has the most splendid view of the rest of the city. The entire back of my tower is open backed, so you get a really easy and wonderful view into the interiors of everything there is to see inside it. Moving across what is the most crowded street in the city, we get to what will eventually be a Chinese restaurant with some more apartment complexes built over them, but that is another project for another time. And finally, here along the very end of the city, I'm going to have a lumberyard where Forkfoot can live happily in peace, although without his buddy Reach, unfortunately. And that brings us to the very end of my LEGO City tour. That's everything that I've been working on for now, and there will be a lot more to come. So, if you do want to see more of that, please do make sure to like it and subscribe. But for now, this has been Bricks to Builds, and I'm out. I'll catch you in the next one.